All right, well, let's wrap up the East here in Norfolk. Take us to Old Dominion. The Monarchs overperformed last year. Some history, maybe not overperformed. I think we were really high on the Monarchs going into last season. I think it was probably maybe all the best case scenarios that we saw play out. But Ricky Ronnie's building there. He had a special quarterback, and this team just refused to quit all throughout that season. Ronnie's back as the head coach, but he does have to replace Colton Joseph, who's off to Wisconsin. So talk to me about the Monarchs. What does their roster look like after a historic season in 2025?
Yeah, I think pretty uniquely when you look around the league, they didn't go to the portal to find a replacement. They feel really good about Quinn Heineckel. He was the offensive MVP in the bowl game last year after Colton Joseph entered the portal. So he's run the offense before. They know what he can do, and he's getting a full offseason as the starter. So they really like what he can do. Colton Joseph was a demon as a dual threat quarterback, and they think Heineckel could do the exact same thing. They like that what he can do with his legs. They like what he can do with his arm. The biggest challenge, I think, is going to be finding who his receivers are, because they lose 3 600-yard receivers from last year. Obviously, Trey Brown was kind of the big name, the number one target, but they also lose Ja'Cory Thomas and Naeem Abdul-Rahim. So it's going to be really interesting to see who steps up. But I do like the running back core. Devin Roche is kind of broke out the last half of last year. And Trey Hall came in from Ole Miss. So that he was he didn't play much in Oxford, but he ran for almost 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns in 20 JUCO games. So he's got a lot of juice there. They're replacing some star power on defense, but I think the secondary has some really nice pieces. Mario Easterly at safety and Zion Frank at corner. They're going to kind of build that foundation there. They have a unique scheme, a 3-2-6 that they run as their base scheme. So
Yeah.
they rotate through a lot of defensive backs. So it's good to have that solid foundation there. This is going to be another team. I think that, winning 10 games last year, it felt like Ronnie finally got to have a season with nothing that off the field went wrong, right? Like he started during COVID. His first season was 2020. And so just imagine trying to lay the foundations of your program and then a pandemic hits. So I think he's finally got his feet under him, and we saw what happens when Ronnie can kind of run the program without any off the field things that he can't control happening.
Which, and you love to see those stories, right? Where you could tell Ronnie was building in the right direction. They had some close shaves early on. They really flirted with upsetting Virginia Tech, and then last year obviously broke through and destroyed the Hokies. Like
they played Indiana closer than any other team.
Yeah, season opener. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they really. As great as last season could have been, can you imagine if somehow they had picked off Indiana to start the season? The signs were there that they were going to have a great year. It was nice to see them pay that off. This year they get another shot at Virginia Tech under new management. We'll preview the Hokies in our ACC series coming up. But what kind of run do you see out of the Monarchs in 2026?
I love that they get JMU at home. I think that it wasn't a game that went their way last year. Obviously, it kind of got away from them, and that was ultimately what decided the division. That game is probably going to be a big-time game to decide this division again. They get it at home. It's early on in conference play. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I kind of wish that we were getting it the last week of the season or something like that. But I think anything else on the schedule is going to be interchangeable there, but getting that game at home, absolutely massive. They can pull off that win. I think they could make me look foolish for picking JMU to run it back, and they could be the ones winning this division.
Hey, the good news about previewing all 138 teams is never, not once, do any of us ever look foolish. We get everything right. Nobody ever pulls up receipts. It's always gravy there.